And good evening. You're listening to Modern Mystic Radio. I'm your host, Mystic Saira. I'm going to be with you for the next 30 minutes. I am not alone today. I'm going to introduce my guest in a moment, but I'm just going to remind you how you can contact me for your own private reading. It's through the website, which is www.modern-mystic.co.uk, or you can connect to me through Facebook under Modern Mystic and also Mystic Saira. Also available on Twitter as well. So please feel free to join and contact me in any way, shape or form. So now I'm going to introduce my special guest today. Her name is Gemma Stacey and she is a wolf spirit medium. Hi Gemma, welcome to the show.
Hi Sarah, how are you?
I'm really well, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Okay, it's lovely to have you on. So you're a psychic medium. You're based in the UK. Tell us a little bit about how you started work as a medium.
Okay, I started work as a medium after, when I was younger, I started giving readings to family members when I was about 8 and a half, and didn't know what it was I could do. And as it's gone on, I've progressed, and now I give readings to the members of the public and also for pets that have passed over and that are still living. I can animal communicate psychically as well. So it's grown from there, and I really, really enjoy my work connecting with people and animals alike. So
how do you actually work? Can you just sort of describe the process that you go through in order to sort of gain your insight and wisdom?
Normally, I either, when I'm sat with someone or via the phone or internet, I ask my guide, Running Wolf, who's my main guide, to connect with that person's energy, and he will link me in, and then the reading goes quite deeply, quite quickly, and I can give a lot of deep information to that person that they can recognise. Some of the time, it's things they've only thought about as well, which is quite exciting when they say. And then my other guides step in. I've got a timber wolf called Azir, who's an elemental, and I've also got Anna, who's an angel guide, and she helps me to go a bit deeper and also to send angelic Reiki healing while I'm doing the reading as well. I normally find I can either do the reading by holding the person's hand or by just being aware of their space, and as soon as I link in, I've had that connection quite quickly.
Oh, fantastic. Now, you describe yourself as a wolf spirit medium. What exactly is that?
Basically, my main guide is called Running Wolf, and he's a Native American Indian chief who was with me on a past life as a father figure. And also I have a pack of wolves, which I use. They work with me as a protection, spiritual protection, sending love out, helping others that are around that might not be as strong in their energies, fields in themselves. And also I have Azir, who's a elemental timber wolf, but he's quite an old soul. So he shows me, he helps to take me back through past lives, I've been shown the pyramids through him, through meditation and different elemental spaces, so it's quite interesting. So yeah, I think I'm a very earthy soul, very connected to animals, and I feel as if I connect with humans and animals on one level pain, so that it's all connected together.
Oh, fantastic. And you're quite busy at the moment, aren't you? Tell us a little bit about what's been going on for you so far this year.
It's been fantastic. I mean, the animal communication has gone huge. Talking to people's animals psychically, either still living or passed over to spirit. Also, my meditation workshops and Meet Your Animal Guide, that's really blown up. It's gone so well. I've actually now created and gone into a recording studio and have my own meditation CD, it's selling really well. It's very popular. And also I've been doing a lot of stage work, a lot of theatre work. Just this summer I was at the Healing Weekend and there was 600 in the audience, which I was really pleased about, and it was really well received. But yeah, the diary's full. Every weekend is an event or doing some sort of work, and I'm actually in the process of looking into writing a book as well about my work as a psychic medium. So quite interesting. A lot opening up very quickly.
Yeah, it sounds absolutely fascinating. So if somebody was listening today and they wanted to get hold of you, how would they go about that if they wanted a reading with you?
I'm on Facebook, so I've got a wolf spirit, animal psychic and medium page, so I can connect with animals. I don't need to see pictures, but as soon as we start talking, I can connect in and do the reading for that, for the person or animals. And also I have a website, which is www.spiritualistmediumgemmastacey.co.uk, and I also do Skype readings as well.
Oh, fantastic. So it doesn't matter if they're in the UK, they could be absolutely anywhere.
Yeah,
okay.
I've read for people across the world here, America, Germany, as far as like Florida. So it's been really, really good experience.
Oh, fantastic. So tell us a little bit about your first ever psychic experience. Can you remember that far back?
I remember when I was a little girl and I kept seeing and hearing the animals talking to me, and I used to cry a lot because I said to my mum and dad I thought that I was different and I was weird because I could hear them very clearly, and because I understood people. As soon as I met someone, I knew them very quickly and I understood them, and as I grew up I thought everyone could do it like that, so to me it was normal and I assumed that everyone could do it. So from there, I went into nursing, and my first full experience was I was looking after someone and they'd passed a spirit, and they actually walked out of the room behind me, and I saw the full manifestation. And from there, I realised not to be frightened of it and that it was very much a part of who I was and to understand it. And I've been very lucky because in my family there's 4 of us that have the ability of it, and I've always been supported through growing up from a child to my teens, and since then it's grown to the point where I got my German Shepherd Willow, and when she used to get poorly she used to tell me what was wrong, and I'd go to the vet and he'd look at me with that knowing smile because I'd be able to tell him what was wrong with her before he x-rayed her, and she was always right. And it just grew and grew from working with them, and now it seems I can't not read anything. So I'm very lucky.
Wow, that sounds absolutely fantastic. So are you ready to demonstrate your wonderful abilities? We have our first caller.
Yep.
This is Charlotte from Erie in Pennsylvania. Hi, Charlotte. Are you here?
Yes, I am.
Hello, how are you? Welcome to the show. I'm just going to pass you over.
Thank you.
I'm just going to pass you straight over to the lovely Gemma, who's going to do your reading for you today. Do you have a question for Gemma?
I do not.
Okay, so just a general reading, is that right?
That's right.
Okay, off you go, Gemma.
Hi, Charlotte.
Hello, Jenna.
Hiya. First off, I'd like to say Running Wolf is talking about that there's been a lot of change going on for you at the moment, and he's saying you've been making decisions about which way you want to go with your path, but he's saying at times it's almost like it's been overwhelming for you, like a lot's happened at once. But I feel like the steps that you've been taking forward and the doors that have been opening from this has actually been quite fruitful for you. I feel like there's been a lot of good coming out of it and a lot of letting go of the past that was holding you back. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Brilliant. He's also talking about self-growth within you. He says about new skills being learnt. He's also showing me writing that is involved in this, and he shows that the development that comes through, it's almost like the physical and spiritual self of you. It's balancing out itself when at times it's conflicted with each other. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. He's also talking about you. It feels like he's talking about a new door that's opening, but I feel like it's to do with house space. It's almost like I want to change the house space to clear it, to give myself more growth. But he's saying about the difficulties. It's like I'm stepping forward and I feel that I'd be able to do it. And then he says it's almost like something's stopping you and the blockage happens. Then you're having to move around another way to get. And he says at times it's almost like you feel like, is this going to work out? Am I going to get there? And he's saying, actually, you've overcome a lot from where you've gone. And the lady that steps through, she says that the growth that is within you, you're finding your identity again. And it's nice to see you smile more and to be happier because the difference you're making to the people that are around you. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. She's also saying to me about work, and there's hands up. It's almost like decisions need making with her. And she says about self-growth and you taking your path forward. But she's saying to me, you're a leader, not a follower. But it almost feels like there's so much change going on at once. She says it's you deciding which thing to deal with first, to be able to see that forward, then put that to bed, then work on the next issue, and then work through that. Does that still make sense?
Yeah, it does.
She's also saying to me, when you look in the mirror, you should see the beauty that looks back at you, because she says at times the confidence in yourself dips, and she says actually there's such a good soul in you. It's just remembering that at times when others' words aren't always helpful around you. Does that make sense?
Somewhat.
Okay. I feel like at the moment there's people that have stepped close to you and those that have stepped back, but I feel like the ones that have stepped back, it's the right move. They've taught you what you've needed to teach, but your growth has now outgrown being around them, and you're going forward, and the circle that you're about to come into, you will learn more from that as well. It feels like there's a lot of spiritual growth coming up and personal growth, and they're saying to me March, April time, things should have started to settle, and the fruitation and the growth should have gone forward from that. And I see you feeling a lot more settled in where you're going and a lot less worried about everything that's been happening and happening around. She says you're very good at holding the fort for those around you, but you don't always focus on yourself. And she says now is your time to go forward and grow, because you've done so much for those around you, and it's you concentrating on you and coming back stronger than you have been.
That makes a lot of sense.
I just want to say finally, I'm being told that your baking is amazing, but there has been mishap. Been lots of laughter with this, but they're saying your baking is amazing and you always look after others. If they, with food, it's like you're welcoming. If I was to come to yours, you'd always make sure I was looked after and I was welcomed and I was well fed. And then if I was to go off, you'd make sure that that had happened. And she's saying that actually that's the goodness that's in your heart and the goodness you always show to people. I feel a lot of love for you from this lady. I feel like she's incredibly proud of you, and she says that at times you're very good at burrowing your emotions downwards, but she says sometimes you've just got to release them to let them out, because you're very good at keeping everything in and filed where it needs to stay, but she says you don't always put it out to allow it to be digested how it needs to be. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Absolutely.
She's saying, hey, I love you so much and I'm incredibly proud of you. She said, when you feel alone and times are hard, she said, don't forget that we're always beside you. We've always got your back. She said, you just need to ask us and we'll help you through what you need forward. She said, if you want it, ask for it. It may not come the way you need it or want it, but she said, we always try to provide what we know you need. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes.
Okay, the final thing she's asking me is, it looks like a small piece of jewellery she's trying to put in my hand, but it feels very important and it feels like I need to mention it, and then she's taken me to a watch. So I feel like time was important to her, but also it feels like she never had enough time for what needed doing. And she's saying to me, she's showing me these two things, and it's almost like the importance of both are incredibly important, but I feel like at times she's saying you try to spread your time so thinly, you don't have time to do what's needed. And she said when you're putting energy into others that don't appreciate that, the time that you've left back, it's almost like it's gone and you want to pull it back, but you can't.
Mm-hmm.
But she's asking me, she's saying to me that I need to leave you with her love, but she's saying don't give up, forgive, And remember that no matter what, you've always done it from the heart, and you've always done the right decisions you can, and you've done the best you can with what you've got.
Okay.
All right?
I'm sure that's my mother. My mother always comes through to me.
She's saying that she's seen you through the good and the bad, and she says there has been hard times that you've been through, but you've put a brave face on, and most people would never know that. But she's saying that actually you're out the other side of it, and she's smiling. She's saying no matter what, you're always resourceful. You always manage to do what is needed. It's almost like she's laughing because she says, if you had nothing, you'd do everything out of it. She's amazed because she said you always pulled things together. But when you need to be strong, she said, you're strong. She said, and when you need to have your moment, you do it, but you never try to burden others around you. And she said, I'm incredibly proud of you. She said, because you're true and you're pure to your heart. It's just you staying on your path and not being drawn into other people's paths.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Okay, thank you so much, Charlotte. We're going to have to leave it there. We're going to go on to... take care, Charlotte. We're going to go straight on to...
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, we're going to go straight on to our next caller, which is Katerina from Yuba City in California. Hi, Katerina, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
We can. I'm going to pass you straight over to Gemma. I only got a short period of time left, but do you have a question for Gemma?
Yes, I do. I wanted to know where I'm going. Like, I'm pregnant, and I just went on maternity leave, and I want to know if I'm going to continue on with the same career I'm at, or am I going to further on and finish school, or what am I going to do?
Okay. I'm being told straight away that there'll be new skills that will be finished to be learnt to grow you and better you. But I'm being told you need to give it time. They're saying let things settle, let where you're going where you're heading to head first, because it feels like you're doing it all at once, and it's almost like it's confusing at times. And they're saying that with this new learning, the growth will come from you. You'll be better and you'll be happier. But they say you'll be more settled in yourself and more confident. It feels like where you are, it's almost like it's done its time. You've gone as far as you can. And it feels like the growth that is needed is through stepping over onto this different path to enable you the growth. But they're saying you have to be settled in yourself and rooted and be sure that that's where you go. Because they said sometimes you change your mind and then you're like, I wish I'd stuck to that. And they're saying if you make sure it's the right decision, and when you've gone to it, you know you're settled, and it will just blossom so quickly. It's almost like it will snowball. It will happen very quickly and open up, and the doorways and the opportunities will become clear very quickly for you. All right?
All right, and so am I going to stay at home with the baby, or...
See you building a business. That's what I'm being shown. I see you having the baby. I see you having time with the baby to begin with. Then I'm showing you building up a business that will build you up. But they're saying to me that first bit of time is important for you to have with the baby, because you're very caring, very maternal, but also your career is important to you as well. And they're saying that will enable you to have the balance of both bits. I feel like after you've had that time at home, you can throw yourself into it and you'll give the best you can to enable it to take off. But it feels like you should be the boss. You should be leading what you're doing, not being directed by it. Does that make sense?
No, yeah, it does, yeah. That's how I've been feeling. I just wasn't sure because my manager and my coworkers and everybody think that I'm not going to come back after here in America, you get 6 weeks for maternity leave, and then you get 6 weeks after you have the baby, and I don't think that's long enough with the new baby.
I feel that you are very maternal, and I feel like you need to... Running Wolf saying to me, my guide, he's saying it's very, very important you have that time before you go into the career mode, because he says that how he's showing me is that you'll end up regretting it if you don't get that time. But also it's incredibly important to you to have that bond, to build that energy before everything else comes in and changes how things are. So he's saying that he sees that time's important, but in my heart, I'm not showing you wanting to go back or going back. I'm showing you spending the time at home so you get that with your baby before the next steps come about.
All right, so I shouldn't worry about the other people's feelings at work.
No. He's saying to me, you've worried so long for those around you, and he's saying it's your time now. It's you, and it's what's best for you. He said you've always put others first, even if it's meant you've missed out, you've lost out, and you've forsaken what you've wanted. But he said this time you need to stand up for what you feel is right and speak up, because he said other people pressuring you, it's not what you want in your heart. You're doing what everyone wants to keep everyone happy so that it's not the hassle. But he said it's too important to you. It's really important. It almost feels like if you've not had the disturbed sleep yet, it feels like that's how bad it's been for you. You've been worrying about it. But he's saying that what's important to you is spending that time, having that quality time before you're thrown back into work again. And I just feel that's incredibly important to do that first.
Yeah, that's how I've been feeling, and then eventually I want to go back to school for radiology.
I feel that you doing new learning will give you that self-confidence, that self-belief. You'll be incredibly proud of yourself, but I also feel like you'll grow within yourself. I feel at the moment, the job you're in, I don't feel it's giving you that satisfaction that you're looking for. And I feel that the job afterwards will give you that satisfaction, and it will settle you to where you want to be heading. I just feel like it will give you a lot more opportunities in life and make your life a lot richer in the experiences that you'll get and you'll have. Okay?
Okay, and then it just, and how many questions are we allowed to ask? Just the one?
You could probably just have one quick question, because we've got to sort of close the show in a few minutes. So, Jamie, we're just going to have to work at record speed. You can probably have one quick question.
Okay, and about relationship-wise.
It's funny you've mentioned that, because before I took your call, my guide, Run and Wolf, said relationship-wise aren't always good. You try to fix that what can't always be fixed. But also he says you need to take your time and make sure you're valued within it. He says love should be settling, but I don't feel you're where you should be with it at the moment. It feels like you've always put in more than you've received from it. And I feel like that you need to speak up a bit more and be honest with how you feel and what you want from it. Because he says at times it's almost like you're keeping everyone else happy, but not always happy in yourself. I feel like you do not need to change as well. Be who you are. Be who they fell in love with. He says that's very important. He says because you've changed at times and then you've been left feeling fed up because the relationship has changed. Does that make sense?
No, it does.
Okay.
It does.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you.
You're very welcome. Take care. Nice to speak to you.
Yeah, it was nice meeting you, and it was a pleasure. And you guys have a great night.
Oh, thank you. Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you so much, Gemma. You give so much information in what is actually fundamentally a very, very short period of time. I do hope you've really enjoyed coming on the show. Can you just remind everybody of how they can get hold of your website details, and how they can book a reading with you if they would like a little bit more than 5 minutes?
Okay. My website is www.spiritualistmedium.gemmastacy.co.uk, and I'm on Facebook as well, Wolf Spirit Medium and Animal Psychic Communicator, and I also do Skype readings as well for people across the world. And thank you for having me on your show. It's been amazing, and it's been lovely speaking to everyone and answering questions. I've really, really enjoyed it.
Oh, you're more than welcome, and fingers crossed we will have you back on the show again if you are willing.
I'd love to. I'd absolutely love to. It would be a pleasure.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm going to leave it there. I'm just going to remind everybody if they want to get hold of me for a reading as well. I'm on www.modern-mystic.co.uk, and again on Facebook under Modern Mystic and Mystic Saira. I do hope you have a fantastic week ahead. We've got plenty more shows coming up for you, so stay tuned for more insight, guidance and spiritual chats, and I'll see you the same time next week. Love and light to you all.